For this cartoon, we're going to start off with our page oriented in what's called landscape. This would be portrait. This is landscape. So we're going to begin by drawing a circle right here. Since we're doing a 3/4 view, we're going to do a curved line like this, and a curved line like this. We're going to draw, starting right at these 2 points here, where they overlap. We're going to draw a little oval going this way. What this is the nose of the character. Above this line, or to the right of this line, I'm going to do the eyes, which are overlapping the nose here. And the eyes going this way. So the character's head is kind of tilted around this way and this way. Excuse me. Then we're going to do a wide open mouth. And eyebrows like this. And one of the fun things about cartooning is, you know that these are eyebrows, even though if you notice, it's kind of off of his head. And that's actually okay. It's a cartoon. He's going to put his tongue in his mouth like this, because his mouth is wide open. Then we're going to draw an ear over here, like this. We're going to draw another ear over here. And when we finish off this line later, only this part will be peeking out. We're going to give him a very stylized hairdo. This is one I've been playing around with lately that I really like. It's just a series of circles, mostly about the same size. And then a series of smaller circles, like this, all the way around. Remember that when you're doing these construction lines, to draw very lightly. I've drawn a little bit darker here, simply because the camera that I'm using requires it, especially when it's being projected. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the body like this, kind of curved. I'm going to draw a leg coming this way, going back here, and draw an oval to represent the foot. Then we're going to draw the other leg going down here, and going back this way, with the oval down here, again representing the foot. The reason we're constructing the cartoon this way is so that we can start thinking about proportions and things like the feet being about the same size. The arm's going to come over the head like this. This arm's going to be bent this way and then back over here. And then again, we're going to put his hands here and here. So this is the position of the character. We're going to draw some thumbs and fingers like this. And then we're going to draw a soccer ball right here. Because this character is the goalie. The funny thing about this, which I'll mention later on, is that during class when we were drawing this cartoon, I took a poll and we voted as to whether or not the goalie caught the ball or deflected the ball, or if it got past him. And about 95% of the kids said, oh yeah, he missed it. It got past him. So we're going to do the same thing here. For the thumb, we're going to draw a really fat finger because he's basically wearing gloves. The goalie's wearing gloves. So give him some really fat fingers. And then we're going to square it off down here at the end of his wrist. Again, to accentuate the fact that he's wearing gloves. For the torso, we're going to do a curved line here for the bottom of his jersey. And then we're going to follow the angle of his back going both ways here. So on this side and on this side, it follows the curvature of his back of his spine. I'm going to draw a couple of rectangles for sleeves on both arms. And it's important that we draw the sleeves even though it might be covering something up or might be covered up. So for instance, we drew the ear over here, but the way the arm is, you're not even going to see that here. And actually, you're not going to see much of this one either because his arm's going to cover up over here. I'm going to go ahead and do his elbow to his wrist. And do from his elbow to his wrist over here. Maybe this sleeve needs to be a little shorter. These are the kind of corrections that you can make as you go. The nice thing about that particular correction is now part of his ear is going to show. His jersey actually goes down from his sleeve, and it's in a V shape like this. His shorts are simply two rectangles that go to his knees. For his shoes, we're going to do a ball at the end of his foot here. I'm exaggerating this. And another ball at the end of his foot here. We're going to do shin guards, which are basically just rectangles curved at the bottom down here where it goes into his foot. So he's got shin guards on, like that. And then we're going to do some lines on, or some oval shapes on his shoes, which will turn into shoestrings a little bit later. Excuse me. One thing I forgot to put on here is that he's standing in front of the net. I'm going to go ahead and draw these lines through the character like this. But when we darken them in later, we won't darken in every line, but we'll darken it in to stylize the net. So now that we have all the construction lines in, two more things. On the front and back of his shoes, we're going to put some spikes because he's wearing cleats. So remember to always start with the objects that were in front of other ones, beginning with the sleeve. And all I'm doing is applying a little more pressure so that the finished lines stand out. And these ones start diminishing in view. I'm going to curve the arm around like this. You can also double up on the lines to make them a little thicker, to make them stand out a little more. I'm going to draw the thumb and the glove like that. Then I'm going to start with the pinky finger here, because the pinky finger is in front of these other three fingers. Other two fingers. A lot of the kids ask, how come he only has three fingers? I keep having to remember to remind them, it's a cartoon. It's much simpler with only 3 fingers. I'm sure there's a historical reason behind that. I'll ask my buddy Ted. So again, I'm going to draw the thumb here. Draw the pinky, middle finger, index finger, then finish off with the glove. You can already start to see that even though we didn't erase any lines, and we won't for this project, because we're drawing these lines thicker, applying more pressure, they stand out more. So continuing on, I'm going to draw the nose, because it's in front of the eye. And I'll draw the eyeball and the pupil of the eye. Darken in his eyebrows. Darken the circle around his eye, or excuse me, under his mouth. Darken this part in. And then for the hair, I'm going to draw around what's called the contour. The contour is the line that goes all the way around. So keeping in mind all those little bits in there. This is a very stylized way of drawing this kind of hair. It's a lot like styles I've seen lately. It's kind of an afro, but there are all these little things that look like beads. I'm going to draw a couple of curls here also. I'm just overlapping some of these shapes and replicating them. So when I draw this part of his face, I'm going to stop a little bit shy of going all the way around. I'm stopping right here where his neck is. I'm going to draw the V, the top of his uniform, and then draw this part here, just leaving a little bit of a gap in the middle there. Darken in this sleeve. But this time we're going to stop where his jersey comes down like this. Curve it around here. And back up here. Darken in his shorts. Darken in his shin pads. Make sure that his laces stick out like this. I switch pencils frequently because I'm pressing really hard as I draw these lines to get them thicker. I'll also stylize the shoes. By just drawing a couple of stripes here. Draw the shin guard over here. And shoestrings. Start with the toe, come around this way. Start with the heel and come around that way. Draw in the cleats. And this is the farthest thing that's away other than the ball. I'm going to draw this arm last. I'm going to draw the ball. It's obvious now because his thumb's here that he missed the ball when it got kicked past him. The way that we draw the ball is to draw a pentagram or pentagon. And now of each of these sides here, I'm going to do a hexagram or hexagon, excuse me. So it angles out this way, it angles back this way, flat here. So it ends up having hexagon surrounding the original pentagon. And then we just do pentagons out here also, on the flat part of each one of these. So if you make a mistake drawing these, I've made tons of mistakes drawing this pattern. As long as you get the idea that it's a soccer ball, rather than just doing a bunch of spots. This is kind of the pattern. Notice it starts with a pentagon here, hexagons here, and then on the flat end here, there's 5 more pentagons around the outside. The final way we're going to finish this up is we're going to draw the net behind him. But whenever the net gets close to his body, we're going to stop the line. So for instance, all these lines. Anytime it gets close to his body, we're going to stop it. That way, the character stands out in front of the net. So, as always, take a picture of this, upload it to your Google slideshow, and hopefully your Google slideshow is already embedded or inserted into your Google site.